all things as you saw them. Now, you did not see wrestling number 2 break that Cobra hold. The match was over. He did not break the Cobra hold because of outside interference. Everybody in this auditorium saw it. I know that you saw it, whether you want to believe it or not. As far as me losing the championship match, there's another technicality. His friend, the individual he said I paid, the imposter, Joe Powell, was the referee that evening. Need I say any more? Wrestling number 2, you are right. I hate your guts. There is not enough room in professional wrestling for you and myself. Now, I'm not going to stand out here. I'm not going to alibi. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. A lot of bad blood's gone underneath the bridge. We don't like each other. It's got to come to an end. I'm the individual who said he's going to be the champion as long as he wants to. Maybe I miscalculated. Maybe I was a little too overconfident. But you know better than I do that I'm not going to quit. I want the belt back, and I want you out of professional wrestling. I'm willing to do just about anything to do just that.
Well, you're going to have that opportunity because tonight at the Omni, the matches begin at 7:30, and your title and the 3,000.
Well, I don't like the situation I'm put in. I'm chained. My money is atop of a 10-foot steel pole. All these factors are against me. For wrestling number 2, I'm going to tell you one time and one time again. I want you to pay strict attention because you and I are going to be involved in a battle. Tonight, you're going to be eliminated. I'm going to beat you at your shackle match. I'm going to climb the pole and get my money, and I just might take your mask off.
It's been said that the... All right,
but
so...
Most of all, I'm proud of the fact, you know, that I'm an American. You know, and like, if my brother and I should win the U.S. Tag Team Tournament, we definitely will represent that title as Americans would. This happens to be a Russian team. Anytime, anywhere, in this country, in the world, that my brother and I get in the ring with this Russian team, we're going to show them what a couple of American wrestlers will do. We'll push them around. They're pushing people around all over the world. We'll push them around.
I would like to say at this time that Paul Jones has come to a decision regarding the $3,000 and the controversial breaking of the Cobra hold. As you know, of course, Wrestling 2 did break the hold. A point was made, however, the bell had rung. Also, Austin Idol was involved because Superstar tripped over Austin Idol. So, what Paul Jones has decided to do is he is going to, the very next time these two men meet, the Superstar and Wrestling 2, the very next time they meet, a steel pole will be erected at ringside. That steel pole will hold at the top the $3,000. The winner of the match who crawls to the top of that pole can take the $3,000. And I think that's, frankly, an unusual way to settle an issue like that.
Well, you know, it's boiled down to the fact that it is a feud, you know, and like Paul Jones has been a promoter and a wrestler for a long time, so he went into the past and, you know, Doug went out, basically, and it's a feud, and, you know, the clans used to settle their feuds this way, and, like, this must be a clan feud and settle it this way.
Well, there you have it. And may I just say that if you had Superstars resorted to some backstabbing, some Pearl Harboring.
Well, you know, it's all started way, way back. Gordon, you perhaps followed this longer than anyone. And it followed way back when he injured me with the Cobra hold. And then it came up where the man came in and jumped behind me and pulled my mask out, which, as a matter of fact, I think you have some action shots on that particular time. And then it followed up with where he hired someone to impersonate me, and then he hired someone to try and do me as a bounty, and just one thing after another has been piling up. And personally, I'd like to see it all come to an end.
Well, I can understand that, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's just go back in history a little bit. Let's go back to the day when Superstar back-jumped Wrestling 2 and removed his mask. Fighting to remove that mask. Wait a minute. Superstar just charged Wrestling 2 from behind. Superstar after the mask of Wrestling 2. Superstar trying to rip that mask off. Wrestling 2 caught from behind. The referee hurdled backwards. And it is Superstar after that mask of Wrestling number 2. Wrestling 2 trying desperately to hold on to it. But it is the Superstar continuing to pull at that mask of Wrestling 2. He continues to try and get it off again. The referee turned to one side. The Superstar has his mask. And now the Superstar, Wrestling 2, concealing his identity in a Superstar, putting the boots to Wrestling 2. Well, obviously, of course, that was an insult that you couldn't let go unnoticed. But then, as you said, suddenly we had a man here wrestling as Wrestling 2. Very frankly, it was such a look-alike situation it had me fooled.
Well, I understand it had a lot of people fooled. It didn't have me fooled because, let's face it, I was getting beat here and not even be here. That's pretty hard to take in my books. Superstar has done his absolute best to try to destroy not only my name, but the image and everything else that I have built over the years. And I certainly don't appreciate it, and I intend to get into the bottom of it and finish it up once and for all.
Well, of course you did. As a matter of fact, regarding the imposter, the fake Mr. Wrestling number 2, if you will, and, well, I had a chance to interview that gentleman, and here's exactly what happened. As you heard here on Georgia Championship Wrestling last week, a gentleman who is masquerading as Mr. Wrestling number 2 came on television, admitted that the Superstar had paid him to masquerade as Wrestling 2. This man has decided to stay within the ranks of professional wrestling, but I understand that you did have a few things you wanted to make clear today.
That's right, Gordon. You know, I have always wanted to be a professional wrestler. And when I was approached by the Superstar and he offered me $5,000, this was my opportunity to do what I had always wanted to do. And, you know, money makes a man do a lot of things. And after I had accepted the money and had done the things that I had done, I realized it began to bother me what I had actually been doing to the reputation of Mr. Wrestling number 2. And the more I thought about it, you know, it really made me feel bad because I cannot apologize to the man enough for what I had done. And it's like I told Mr. Wrestling number 2 that I would not wrestle as Mr. Wrestling number 2 anymore.
And, of course, at that point in time, he started to remove his mask. He was attacked again. He went back into the ring, and, of course, he is no longer masquerading as Mr. Wrestling number 2. That situation has been cleared up entirely. But you finally got a chance to get a little bit even.
Well, you know, it's like a cat. He'll run for a certain length of time, but when you stick him in a corner, he fights. And I've been in the corner long enough. Now I feel it's my turn to do something, and I'm doing it. I told everybody that I'm going to come after the Superstar no matter what. I don't care who gets in my way. I'm going to go through him, over him, or under him, whichever it takes to do. I'm doing just exactly that. I did a little backstabbing myself. I'm not proud of it, but I did it because, like I said, I'm tired of being in a corner. I'm coming out of that corner no matter what.
Well, let's take a look at Wrestling 2, and he evened the score about that unmasking. The referee is down. The referee is down, and as obvious, he's got him into an inside cradle. He's got him to an wait a minute, Joe Powell tells for only a count of 2. Only a count of 2. And it's Powell over there. Rick Hurdle over that top rope. Rick Hurdle over that top. Wait a minute, the Superstar after Powell. The Superstar after Powell. The referee is still down. The Superstar putting the Cobra hold on Joe Powell. Tommy Rich still outside the ring. The referee is still hurt. And he's got the Cobra hold on Joe Powell. And hold on. Wrestling 2 just starts the ring. Wrestling 2 just starts the ring. He's after the mask of the Superstar. He's after the mask of the Superstar. And he's got the mask. Well, you had the mask, and you evened the score on that. Now, obviously, what happened earlier on another hour of Georgia Championship Wrestling, you broke the Cobra hold.
Well, in my books, I broke it. I mean, after all, like I said before, I didn't ask no one to lay down in the middle of the ring. I didn't ask him to trip over anybody. He had the hold. We went down. He lost it. So that means I broke it.
Okay, but I'll tell you what.
Has been Pat O'Connor, Lou Thez, Gene Kiniski, all of them National Wrestling Alliance champions, Dory Funk Jr., myself, Terry Funk, Harley Race, but then along comes that egg-sucking dog, Dusty Rhodes, who happens to fluke into the World Championship. Now, I have a picture of this man. I want to ask you, what does he represent? Does he represent wrestling? Look at that big, fat, obnoxious belly of his. Look how he's in the ring in a pair of faded blue jeans and a shirt that says everybody loves somebody in Luckenbach and a pair of cowboy boots and varicose veins and bleached blonde hair, and this overbearing egg-sucking dog thinks he's the world's heavyweight wrestling champion? Well, listen, I've spent my entire life in wrestling rings, and I know what it is to be a champion. And this man certainly doesn't represent one or never should have been one. And that's why I did what I did. And I'm going to do the same thing to him. Sunday night, 7:30 in the Omni, I'm going to get a hold of Dusty Rhodes, and believe me, you overbearing, obnoxious, egg-sucking dog, I'm going to do something to you that's never been done before. I'm going to wrestle you and beat you.
Sidekick and partner Wahoo McDaniel. And Dusty, I guess more than one way to buy a contract.
God, it's only the eyes of the wrestling world are on this thing right now. Every major city in the universe is on this thing right now. Wahoo McDaniel, Dusty Rhodes together flew in all the way from Texas, come all the way in for this thing. And the two yellow dogs, Dory Funk Jr., if your daddy was alive, he'd whip your honey, boy. And Terry Funk, the Texas death match that was never over and will never be over. Me and Wahoo McDaniel, we want to show you right now just how, when they was wanting it so bad, we gave it to them right here. And we're going to show that tape and show them getting their little honey patted right here in this ring right here.
Let's take a look at that match.
Wahoo McDaniel and Dusty Rhodes just charged the ring in their street clothes. Wahoo McDaniel and Dusty Rhodes pounding away at Terry Funk and Dory Funk Jr. And it is Dusty Rhodes after ripping that shirt off of Terry Funk, and Terry Funk, Wahoo McDaniel's catching Dory Funk, and what a wild, wild scene we have here now. Complete chaos and bedlam as Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and Chief Wahoo McDaniel are absolutely annihilating Terry Funk and Dory Funk Jr. And it is... When you talk about sudden amazing surprises, Dory Funk Jr. hurdled over that top rope, Terry Funk hurdled out, and we're trying to get this ring area cleared at this time, trying to get things straightened out and cleared away, and we'll be back.
Well, the two of you cleared that ring in a hurry.
You know, that's the #1 family, they say, from Texas and in the world. Well, you know, that wasn't the dump ground. That was Terry Funk's backyard, and he was out there shooting those rats so he could skin them and barbecue them, because that's how low he's gotten. And I'm going to tell you one thing. They tried to break this man's arm. They've always been tough when they're together. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Dusty and I have always been pretty tough when we're together. So we'll just find out who the #1 family from Texas is this trip. And I guarantee you it's coming to a head soon.
Well, I was talking to your Aunt Corinne in Texarkana the other day, and she said that she was hoping you two would get together.
You know, Garden Soul is just real easy. We have heard a lot of hollering, screaming, and really jive talking going on, and they wanted to know where Dusty Rhodes was. Now they know where I be at. I be right biting at they honey. Me and Wahoo McDaniel gonna take care of business. Believe me, baby, taking care of business.
Tomorrow night at the Omni.